June 3, 1864. Lieutenant John Headley watches Cold Springs Foundry from the tree line, counting smokestacks against the evening sky. Those chimneys breathe fire that becomes cannons that kill his people. Tonight, he'll make them breathe different flames. Tonight, New York burns. Inside the foundry, molten iron pours into cannon molds, Parrott rifles destined for Virginia battlefields. Each gun weighs thousands of pounds, fires 20-pound shells, kills from miles away. Workers here never see the blood. They forge death like horseshoes, collect wages, go home satisfied. My brother died at Gettysburg. A Cold Spring cannon tore him apart, left leg, right arm, most of his chest just gone. I held what remained while he drowned in his own blood. He was 19. So yes, I volunteered for this. Revenge tastes better than victory. The Confederacy bleeds from 1,000 cuts this summer. Grant hammers Lee relentlessly. Sherman carves through Georgia. Lincoln will likely win re-election. Desperate times demand desperate measures. If we can't win battlefields, perhaps terror will break Northern will. Perhaps fear conquers what armies cannot. 8 of us infiltrated North over 3 months. Different routes, different cover stories, different boarding houses. I'm a textile merchant from Baltimore. Private Anderson sells farm equipment. Sergeant Morris repairs watches. We memorize our lies, practice our accents, become our masks. One mistake means the noose. Cold Spring sleeps comfortably, far from war's thunder. Prosperity insulates them. Foundry profits, government contracts, steady work. Their sons fight, yes, but here, safe, protected by distance, by geography, by the comforting illusion that war respects borders. Tonight, that illusion dies screaming. 2 in the morning, we gather outside town, hands checking pistols, throats too dry for speaking. Young Anderson's fingers tremble. He's 20, never killed anyone, never burnt anything larger than a campfire. I grip his shoulder. Stay close. Follow me. Don't think. He nods. We move. Thomas Murphy makes his rounds. Gates locked, warehouses secure, logbook entries mundane. 63 years old, 20 years doing this job. His joints ache, his eyes blur, his mind wanders to tomorrow's fishing trip. War seems impossibly distant. Enemy soldiers in New York? Absurd. He checks another door, yawns. The warehouse door yields easily. We'd scouted the locks weeks ago. Inside, rifle components gleam in moonlight. Barrels, stocks, triggers, awaiting assembly. I strike the match. Watch flame bloom. Hesitate. This changes everything. Then my brother's face, his blood, his final scream. The match falls. Fire eats the darkness hungrily. Flames find oil-soaked crates, explode upward with a roar that sounds like triumph. I'm already moving toward the next building, then the next. Behind me, orange light paints the world. Ahead, more targets. The matches in my pocket feel alive, eager. Anderson follows, his face reflecting hellfire and something like wonder. Murphy spots the glow. His mind stutters fire. Impossible, can't be. Then instinct overrides confusion. He runs, old legs screaming protest, toward the alarm bell. Yanks the rope. The bell's clang shatters the night like artillery. Windows burst with light. Cold Spring wakes to find hell visiting unexpectedly. You've seen panic, perhaps, but have you seen an entire town convulse awake simultaneously? Women clutching children, screaming questions nobody can answer. Men running in nightshirts toward flames, shouting contradictory orders. Dogs barking, horses rearing, chaos blossoming like fire itself, spreading just as fast, consuming order, leaving only terror. We vanish into darkness while Cold Spring burns behind us. 3 warehouses ablaze, maybe 4. Ammunition cooking off sharp cracks, punctuating the roar. Our horses wait where we left them. I count heads. 1, 2, 3, 8. Everyone made it. We ride hard, splitting into pairs. Anderson stays with me. He's crying. I pretend not to notice. The fire brigade arrives with hand pumps and leather buckets. Men shouting themselves hoarse, organizing water chains from the river. But flames have grown too powerful, too widespread. Explosions drive them back repeatedly. They watch helplessly as months of labor transform into smoke and ash and expensive regret. Daniel Foster, foundry foreman, walks through smoking ruins at dawn. His life's work gone, $200,000 in damage, maybe more. Contracts broken, production halted, soldiers lacking weapons because of this night. He kneels in ashes, picks up a twisted rifle barrel, still warm. It burns his palm. He doesn't let go. Federal investigators arrive by afternoon train. Serious men with notebooks and suspicions. They interview witnesses, examine evidence, reconstruct events with methodical precision. The pattern becomes obvious, quickly coordinated, professional, deliberate. Sabotage. Enemy agents deep in Union territory. The revelation spreads through Cold Spring like secondary fire, igniting fear instead of wood. 6 days we ride toward Confederate lines, changing horses frequently, avoiding main roads, sleeping in shifts. Anderson keeps asking, did we kill anyone? I don't answer because I don't know. Maybe the watchman died. Maybe someone fought the fire too bravely. Maybe smoke claimed lungs. Uncertainty gnaws worse than guilt sometimes. I want you to understand something. New York newspapers exploded with outrage. Confederate terror strikes home. Rebels attack our cities. Lincoln cannot protect us. The raid's psychological impact dwarfed its material damage. Fear proved more destructive than fire. One night accomplished what armies couldn't, made Northerners feel war's teeth personally. Checkpoints appear everywhere within days. Union soldiers demanding papers, searching wagons, interrogating travelers with unfamiliar accents. Paranoia becomes policy. Cold Spring transforms from comfortable town into armed camp. Neighbors eye neighbors suspiciously. Trust dies. The raid destroyed more than warehouses. It burned away innocents, leaving only ashes. I cross back into Confederate territory, exhausted, filthy, reeking of kerosene. Debriefing officers congratulate me enthusiastically. Brilliant operation, tactical success, morale victory. They clap my shoulders, pour whiskey, ask for details. I answer mechanically. Victory should feel better than this. Instead, I taste ashes. Everything tastes like ashes now. Richmond publishes the raid widely. Proof Confederates can strike anywhere. Proof the North bleeds too. Southern newspapers praise our daring. But privately, some officers question whether burning warehouses delays defeat or merely guarantees harsher vengeance. Strategy versus symbolism. Nobody admits we're losing. Everyone knows we're losing. Symbolism fills that terrible gap. Cold Spring rebuilds slowly. Workers clear debris, salvage equipment, lay new foundations. But you can't rebuild what really burned: the comfortable certainty that geography protects you, that distance means safety, that war respects boundaries. Women lock doors now. Men watch strangers. Children ask why enemies wanted to hurt them. Innocence, once lost, never returns. Thomas Murphy, the night watchman, survives physically unharmed. But guilt consumes him like fire consumes wood. He failed his duty, allowed disaster, enabled destruction. Despite everyone saying nothing could have prevented the attack, Murphy internalizes responsibility. 3 months later, his heart stops. Doctors call it natural causes. His widow knows better. By October, the foundry operates again. Hammers ringing, furnaces roaring, cannons emerging like before. But security has transformed completely. Guards patrol constantly. Visitors face interrogation. Workers carry identification passes. The casual atmosphere died that June night. War finally reached Cold Spring, not through armies, but through smoke, not through battles, but through terror. Anderson can't sleep anymore. He sees flames every time he closes his eyes, hears alarm bells in silence, smells burning wood constantly. Cold Spring haunts him. It resembled his Virginia hometown. Same size, same innocence, same peaceful people. Did Union raiders burn his home similarly? Does suffering have sides? Can righteousness excuse what we did? Here's what history books won't tell you. By 1865, Cold Spring had faded into war's vast catalog of violence. Bigger battles, bloodier campaigns, more dramatic turning points dominated narratives. But Cold Spring residents never forgot. That June night taught them war's essential truth. Safety exists nowhere when nations clash. Geography provides no sanctuary whatsoever. Did the raid matter militarily? Probably not, substantially. The North's industrial advantage was overwhelming. One foundry's closure barely registered against dozens more producing constantly. But fear? Fear mattered enormously. Terror achieved what destruction couldn't. Psychological warfare proved more effective than physical damage. We learned that lesson. Eventually, everyone learned it. I survived the war, wrote memoirs decades later, described Cold Spring matter-of-factly: planning, execution, escape, professional operation, professionally accomplished. But one passage haunts me. I wrote, "Success and satisfaction are not synonyms." I succeeded that night, completed my mission perfectly. Yet satisfaction eludes me still. It always will. The raid illustrated irregular warfare's emerging dominance. Traditional battlefields couldn't decide this conflict alone. Guerrilla operations, sabotage missions, psychological campaigns became equally crucial. Cold Spring represented this evolution war, reaching beyond armies into cities, targeting morale alongside material, attacking minds through terror. Modern warfare was born in flames like these. Ironically, the raid created jobs. Security measures required guards, inspectors, identification checkers. Some Cold Spring residents resented the intrusions. Others appreciated the employment. War's economics proved perversely beneficial sometimes. Destruction creates reconstruction opportunities. Fear generates security profits. Tragedy births commerce. The math seems immoral, but remains accurate. Union intelligence agencies intensified counter-espionage efforts after Cold Spring exposed vulnerabilities. They infiltrated Confederate networks, arrested suspected saboteurs, increased surveillance of Southern sympathizers. Paranoia became policy. Suspicion became strategy. If enemy agents could strike Cold Spring, nowhere was safe. Security replaced liberty incrementally, necessarily, tragically. You need to understand the timing. June 1864 marked a crucial period in Lincoln's presidency. Northern morale was collapsing. Grant's campaign had stalled bloodily. War weariness spread like disease. Confederate sabotage added to public anxiety. Lincoln's opponents seized on Cold Spring as evidence of incompetence. Politics weaponized tragedy efficiently, brutally. Here's something I never told anyone. My brother didn't die from enemy fire. Camp fever killed him disease, not cannons, weeks before Gettysburg. But I created a more dramatic narrative, killed by Cold Spring weapons. Memory served emotion, not accuracy. Grief demanded meaning, even fictional meaning. I needed a reason. I invented one. By war's end, Cold Spring had produced thousands of cannons, millions of rounds, countless weapons. The June raid became a footnote in that massive production history. Industry triumphed over sabotage. The North's material advantage proved decisive. Our raid delayed them weeks. They won anyway. Sometimes victory requires only surviving longer than your enemy. Modern Cold Spring displays. No memorial to the raid. No plaque marks where warehouses burned. No museum explains that June night. The town has moved past that trauma, integrated it, forgotten it. Only local historians remember. History flows forward relentlessly, burying yesterday's headlines beneath today's concerns. Eventually, even violence becomes quaint. The raid represented war's democratization. Civilians could no longer consider themselves separate from military conflict. The home front became a legitimate target. This principle, controversial in 1864, became standard doctrine by the 20th century. Cold Spring was an early lesson in total war's terrible logic. We taught it well. I never returned to Cold Spring. I'd accomplished my mission, avenged my brother, or the fiction of my brother served my cause. But something nagged me afterward. In destroying the foundry, I'd become what I hated, someone who brought war to peaceful communities. The distinction between soldier and terrorist blurred uncomfortably. Victory felt increasingly like compromise. Consider this. The raid's immediate tactical success masked its strategic failure completely. It didn't slow Union production meaningfully, didn't damage Northern morale permanently, didn't change war's trajectory. If anything, it strengthened Northern resolve. Fear transformed into fury. Vulnerability became determination. We'd poked the industrial giant, making it angrier without weakening it. Cold Springs children incorporated the raid into their play. They reenacted that June night, argued over who'd be Confederates, staged dramatic rescues. Adults found this disturbing, but children processed trauma differently, transforming fear into games, converting horror into stories. Within a generation, the raid became mythology rather than memory. Time softens everything eventually. The burned warehouses were rebuilt stronger, brick replacing wood, metal replacing flammable materials, fire, suppression systems installed throughout. Paradoxically, Confederate sabotage accelerated Union industrial advancement. Destruction birthed innovation. Violence sparked progress. War's perverse benefits revealed themselves again. We made them better. That irony tastes like poison. Union veterans occasionally visited Cold Spring post-war, wanting to see where weapons that saved their lives were forged. Some learned about the raid, expressed gratitude that production resumed quickly. Others felt disturbed. This peaceful town had been a battlefield too. Geography determined nothing. War respected no boundaries whatsoever. Everyone learned that lesson painfully. The raid raised ethical questions 1864 America struggled to answer. Was targeting civilian infrastructure legitimate warfare or terrorism? Did necessity justify any tactic? Where did honorable combat end and atrocity begin? These questions remained unresolved then. They remain unresolved now. Some questions don't have comfortable answers. Some never will. Anderson deserted in early 1865, weeks before Appomattox. He couldn't reconcile what he'd done with who he'd been. The boy who burned Cold Spring couldn't become the man he'd planned to be. He disappeared into Tennessee mountains, adopted a new name, never spoke of war. Silence became his penance. He died anonymous. Cold Spring's population grew significantly after the raid. The foundry's importance attracted workers. Security needs created jobs. Reconstruction demanded laborers. Ironically, Confederate sabotage stimulated economic development. The town emerged from war larger, wealthier, more important than before. Destruction planted prosperity's seeds. History's ironies multiply endlessly, mocking simple narratives persistently. Let me tell you about satisfaction. My memoirs, published decades later, described Cold Spring clinically. Planning, execution, escape professional work, professionally documented, but one passage revealed truth. Success and satisfaction are not synonyms. I succeeded that night. I have never been satisfied since. Veterans understand. Heroes don't. The difference matters profoundly. The raid's anniversary went unobserved in Cold Spring for generations. Nobody wanted to commemorate trauma, celebrate destruction, remember vulnerability publicly. Only recently have historians begun examining that June night seriously. Time transforms all events into data, emotions into evidence, suffering into scholarship. Memory becomes, history becomes, footnote becomes nothing. Confederate sabotage operations like Cold Spring revealed desperation beneath bravado. By 1864, the South couldn't win conventionally. These raids represented last-ditch attempts to avoid inevitable defeat through unconventional means. They failed. No amount of sabotage could overcome Northern advantages. Desperation never substitutes for strategy. We learned that expensively. Thomas Murphy's grandson became a Cold Spring police officer, dedicating his life to protecting what his grandfather couldn't. He patrolled streets his grandfather walked, guarded buildings his grandfather lost, served a community his grandfather failed. Redemption through generations. Guilt inherited, then transcended through service. Some debts outlive their debtors. Some debts get repaid anyway. The foundry closed in 1911 economics, killing what Confederates couldn't. Newer facilities, better locations, changing technology rendered it obsolete. Buildings stood empty for decades before demolition. Nature reclaimed the ground slowly. Today, a small park occupies the site. Children play where weapons were forged, unaware of history beneath their feet. Modern military analysts study the Cold Spring raid in special operations courses. Not for tactical brilliance, it was fairly standard sabotage. Rather, for psychological warfare implications. The raid demonstrated how small teams create disproportionate fear, how terror's value exceeds destruction's, how perception matters more than reality. We teach these lessons now. Institutionalized terrorism. Cold Spring residents developed a complicated relationship with the raid's memory. Pride in their foundry's Union contribution mixed with discomfort about being attacked. Victimhood competed with patriotism. The narrative became tangled, contradictory, resistant to simple interpretation. Like all war stories, truth fragmented under examination's pressure. Memory serves many masters simultaneously. My motivations remain debated by historians who think they understand. Was it revenge for my brother? Duty to my cause? Desire for recognition? Simple obedience to orders? Probably all these factors intertwined. Human motivation rarely reduces to single causes. People contain multitudes, act from complex impulses, justify decisions through convenient narratives. I'm no exception. The raid illustrated how civil war progressively blurred combatant-civilian distinctions. Sherman's March, Sheridan's Valley Campaign, Cold Spring, all targeted civilian infrastructure supporting enemy war efforts. This marked a fundamental shift in American warfare's nature. Total war's logic demanded attacking everything sustaining opponents' military capacity. Industry, agriculture, morale, hope. Everything became legitimate targets. Cold Spring's foundry workers never fully trusted outsiders again. Every stranger became potentially suspicious, every unfamiliar face possibly hostile. This low-level paranoia persisted for decades, eventually becoming community character rather than active fear. The raid's psychological scars outlasted physical damage by generations. Fear embedded itself deeply. Some wounds never heal completely. The Confederate government paid our team $500 total. Divided 8 ways, each man received about $62, roughly $1,000 today. We'd risked execution for modest compensation. Money never motivated us. Ideology, revenge, duty, adventure, these drove us forward. Economics rarely explains soldiers' choices. Passion does. Rage does. Money doesn't. Union retaliation for Cold Spring remained relatively restrained. No widespread Confederate civilian infrastructure attacks followed as direct response. Lincoln opposed descending into revenge cycles. He preferred winning the war to winning arguments about acceptable tactics. His restraint frustrated Northern hawks demanding harsher measures. Presidential wisdom sometimes resembles weakness superficially. It's not. The raid's legacy includes stricter laws governing sabotage, improved facility security protocols, enhanced counterintelligence procedures. Cold Spring's painful lesson became institutional knowledge. The price of that education destroyed warehouses, shattered confidence. Lasting fear seemed steep. But war rarely offers gentle instruction. Every lesson costs something. Some cost everything. This one cost innocence. Historians argue whether Cold Spring qualified as terrorism. Definitions remain contested. We targeted military infrastructure, not civilians directly. But we aimed to spread fear widely, attacking psychology alongside material. Perhaps the distinction between warfare and terrorism exists more in theory than practice. Violence resists comfortable categorization. Always has. Always will. Daniel Foster's son joined the Army after the raid, driven by anger at those who destroyed his father's work at me, specifically. He survived the war, returned home, eventually managed the rebuilt foundry. In ironic circularity, he employed Union veterans whom Cold Spring weapons had protected. Former enemies worked together forging peacetime products. Reconciliation happened gradually. The raid's failure to significantly impact Union war production validated Northern industrial strategy completely. The Confederacy couldn't win an attrition contest against such overwhelming manufacturing capacity. One foundry's temporary closure barely mattered when dozens more operated continuously. Cold Spring illustrated the South's fundamental strategic problem. Industry beats agriculture in modern warfare. Always. Inevitably. Cold Spring today remains a small Hudson River town, picturesque and peaceful. Tourists visit for scenery, not history. The raid merits brief mentions in local histories, nothing more substantial. Time has buried that trauma beneath layers of subsequent events, more recent concerns, contemporary issues. The past recedes constantly, becoming fainter, losing urgency. Eventually, violence becomes quaint. You want to know what I think about now? On quiet June nights, when wind carries the river's smell up Cold Spring streets, Do elderly residents remember their grandparents' stories? Distant now, filtered through generations, softened by time. Yet something lingers, a reminder that safety is temporary, peace is provisional, security is vulnerable. That night taught lessons nobody forgets. Here's the truth historians avoid. The raid succeeded tactically but failed strategically, destroyed buildings but strengthened resolve, killed innocents but hardened determination. We thought terror would break Northern will. Instead, we gave them justification for total war. We thought sabotage would stop production. Instead, we taught them to build better defenses. We won the battle, lost everything else. Anderson died in 1892 in Tennessee, anonymous and alone. His wife never knew about Cold Spring. His children never heard war stories. He carried those flames silently for 27 years, seeing them every night, smelling smoke that wasn't there, hearing bells that never rang. Some men survive war. Some men just postpone dying. So here we are. 161 years later, Cold Spring thrives, peaceful and prosperous. The Confederacy is dust. The foundry is a park. The raid is a footnote. But on June 3rd, if you listen carefully, you can still hear echoes, flames crackling, bells clanging, men shouting, history screaming. Some nights never truly end. Some fires never completely extinguish. Some lessons burn forever.